Well, the shocking forensic report released last Wednesday titled The Great Bank Heist, detailing how the VBS bank heist allegedly occurred, has sparked much reaction. Well, the bulk of funds stolen were allegedly for the benefit of individuals and entities related to VBS executives, some of which allegedly include top ANC officials in Limpopo. Well, joining us for more on this now in studio is ANC National Spokesperson, Mr. Pule Mabe. Very good evening to you, sir. We thank you very much for your time.
Evening and evening to your viewers.
Of course, it's very concerning that the ANC, of course, does have members in Limpopo that have been implicated in this heist there. We have Caesar, of course, he's been helping allegedly municipalities make illegal deposits, as well as the deputy chairperson and Vembe district executive mayor. Florence Radzilani. Over 300 million rand is said to have been invested, of which the individual received bribes. What is the ANC's reaction and comment on this?
Well, what the African National Congress has done is that on Friday, the Secretary General's office, empowered by the resolutions of the 54th National Conference, wrote to the Integrity Committee of the ANC to begin looking into this matter, attend to the report, invite those of our members and comrades who could be mentioned in the report, so that you are able to deal with issues with the necessary speed. But you'll also remember that the president of the ANC, when he was addressing a gala dinner last night in Musadladla region in KwaZulu-Natal, did mention the fact that we need to be seen acting with the necessary speed and swiftly to attend to the road that has been characterized by this, the report dubbed the Big Bank Heist.
Speaking of that speech, of course, by President Cyril Ramaphosa, or address on the issue, there's also allegations this morning surfacing that President Ramaphosa knew about this, that he was informed about what was happening, the looting that was taking place in VBS towards the end of last year already. There was an alleged meeting that took place. The president allegedly also responded, saying that he would continue with action, yet we see nothing. And a year on, we hear the same sentiments of the president, saying that swift action needs to be taken.
Well, thanks for that question. You would know that earlier this year, sometimes in April, the financial sector regulation came into force. This was the work of the African National Congress in Parliament to try and increase management and prudence, both of market conduct and also on how these financial institutions conduct and carry their affairs. It was out of the promulgation of the financial sector regulations that the prudential authority within the Reserve Bank came about. This prudential authority that came about through a process that was led by the ANC in Parliament is the one that actually exposed the rod through this report that is now out there. You'd remember that there was first the appointment of a curator. After the report of the curator was made available, the Reserve Bank, once there was a prudential authority, the Deputy Reserve Bank Governor acted through the prudential authority to bring on board legal entities to be able to conduct the kind of forensic investigation that has happened. As soon as the report was out, the African National Congress, as the ruling party, did not mince its words. The first thing it did was to then subject this report to the Integrity Committee, make sure that it also act with speed. By the way, this is the organization that President Ramaphosa leads. So there's not been any signs of inaction, because tomorrow officials of the ANC are meeting. They are also expected within the shortest time possible to meet with officials of Limpopo so that they could be able to get feedback on how the province of Limpopo is attending to this matter. I can assure you and the viewers of the SABC that if there is one thing that the ANC is attending to with greater vigilance, is this matter.
But are you saying then, is the ANC, of course, then denying the allegation that President Ramaphosa knew about this last year already?
Well, the ANC is not going to be sidetracked into attending to issues that are raised in the media space.
Of course, these are allegations, these are reports, so you can confirm it or deny it.
No, but you see, there's already action. The fact that we are already acting. You see, we are, I think what the ANC should be seen doing is to be able to rise on the kind of actions that it has taken. By the way, when the Secretary General's office it rides on behalf of officials who are led by President Ramaphosa. It rides on behalf of the National Executive Committee. So the Integrity Commission has now been brought on board. This should be communicating one singular message to the people of South Africa: our seriousness to attend to corporate crimes. I mean, we said that in the same way that we need to be attending to Steinhoff, attend to many other, whether it's KPMG and many other issues that would have come out as being exposed as part of the corporate rot. Now you have got the financial sector conduct authority. The role of the financial sector conduct authority is to also be able to make sure that the conduct of financial institution is commensurate with what is acceptable in society. So it's no longer, it's not free for all. Now, last year you didn't have the Prudential Authority. You now have the Prudential Authority. It is acting with the necessary speed. The ANC is calling for action. The ANC is on record as saying heads must roll.
All right. Well,
where there was wrongdoing.
Of course, so speaking of heads must roll, where there was wrongdoing, President Cyril Ramaphosa said that those implicated in the VBS must face the music. Let's have a look at the address that he made at the ANC fundraising gala dinner yesterday evening.
VBS saga is the most concerning one, just as much as the Steinhoff saga as well. We need to speed up the process of ensuring that those who have done wrong against our people should be made to account without delay. It hurts our people when they see those people who are involved in all these corrupt activities just carrying on with their lives as though nothing has happened. And they carry on having stolen our people's money. And we say that must come to an end. We must act with speed against people who do wrong things against our people.
So still in conversation here this evening with ANC National spokesperson, Mr. Pule Mabe. Well, let's talk about Limpopo wanting to do their own investigation. We've also heard you speak of that integrity commission. Yes. Is this not undermining what Advocate Motau has already done in his report in wanting to do and facilitate another commission, which is going to take long again? It seems like another stalling tactic.
No. This is an ANC process. There is work that is supposed to be done by law enforcement agencies, whether it's the Hawks, is the NPA and all of that. That is the work that happens at the level of government. There is also what the ANC is doing. You would remember that at the 54th National Conference, one of the things that the ANC pronounced itself on was to deal with social distance. Make sure that it is seen and perceived by society to be a credible organization, whose integrity is intact, whose leaders are responsible and can be trusted by the masses of our people. So when there are issues that come about which are seen to be undermining the very integrity and reputation of the movement, the organization, as the African National Congress, ought to be seen to be taking the necessary steps to attend to all of that. One of the things that the ANC has pronounced is the greater need and will to have ethical leadership within the ranks of the organization. I mean, I pick up conversations with the chair of the Integrity Committee, Comrade George Mashamba, from time to time. And one of the things that comes out is that we need to make sure that we make the organization, the African National Congress, attractive to the masses of our people. We must be saying the way Chantel carries herself out in society is commensurate and consistent with the values that the African National Congress has set for itself. So it means that the ANC is now beginning to say, to be trusted by the people, having bestowed on ourselves the task of leading society, there are things that we too are expected to be seen doing out there by the general public.
Well, speaking of the general public and case in point specific, the VBS mutual bank heist, you were in studio backstage where you saw our reporter on the ground giving us details of how the innocent consumers are being affected in this. We also heard President Ramaphosa talking about the economy, continuously talking about job creation. As the ANC, how are you going to intervene in the innocent consumers that have been affected in this, and also the severance packages that they've been offered. One of the individuals that we spoke to yesterday on the ground had been working for the bank for a number of years and said that his severance package payout was 21,000 rand. He supports a family of 5.
Of course, the liquidity problems that would have been exposed prior, which had engulfed the mutual bank in the form of VBS, is one of the issues that began raising red lights, to the extent that there was a curator, and after a curator, the Prudential Authority in the Reserve Bank had to do what it did to produce the kind of a report which is now a source of public engagement. It is worrying in the VBS case because it is ordinary people out there. It is families which would have taken young people to school, have supported families. These are breadwinners.
So how is the ANC going to provide support during this time?
That is why you'd remember that it is not so much an ANC issue. It is so much a government issue, because the Prudential Authority within the Reserve Bank, having attended to these things and having now developed a report, there could be measures. You'll remember that one of the stopgap measures that came about was to have one of the big commercial banks coming in to try and deal with the situation as it was obtaining, to make sure that limited withdrawals could at least be issued out. I'm sure that we need, without us, because what we should not be doing is, the ANC can't put itself in a position of conflict. We must allow institutions of state, like the Reserve Bank, to be able to pronounce what becomes the way forward. There are issues of conduct which we ought to be seen dealing with.
On your issues of conduct, on your issues of integrity and having leaders that are ethical, is the ANC not shaken in the state capture inquiry report of ANC members being implicated, and of course in the VBS heist, yet another crucial saga? Very, very briefly.
Well, as it relates to the state capture report and all of these issues that are coming up, you'd remember that the 54th resolutions of the ANC, one of the things that they point out is that we should be moving with speed to facilitate and make sure that we have got a commission of inquiry that deals with issues of state capture. The ANC itself is on record as encouraging its own members who may have evidence that could be helpful to the work of the commission to come forward. Now, all of these interventions, by the way, are interventions that are led by the ANC, whether it's the Prudential Authority, whether it's the Financial Services Conduct Authority. All of these things are led by the ANC. And why is the ANC doing all of these things? Because the ANC recognizes that the only way it could be able to place this country on a path of growth is to have leaders that are trusted, leaders that our people can rely on, leaders that are responsible, leaders that are accountable.
Thank you very much for your time this evening, Mr. Pule Mabe, ANC National Spokesperson, just giving us the ANC's word on the VBS saga. Of course, so we're going to take a short break here on SABC News. Do stay tuned. You're watching The Full View.